What's going on, everybody? Brandon Charleston here, coming at you with another tutorial. This probably won't be quick, but this damn thing is so good that I don't even, it's wild to me. Just how the evolution of AI and agents at that is evolving. And this is just too good, so I just got to get it out there because it's already been unleashed. And so that said, let's get right to it. I'm basically going to show you complete end-to-end walkthrough on how you can use Mistral, which if you're not familiar with Mistral, they're definitely an LLM that you should be aware of. Microsoft's invested into them. A lot of big investors have put money into them. So I know that Claude or Anthropic, as well as OpenAI, is looking at them and be like, damn, like what are they doing, right? And so they just recently released AI agents via API, and they made it stupid easy to use within like Clay, any sort of API calls, where essentially just like OpenAI's GPTs, if you had ChatGPT Plus, you can essentially do custom instructions, or you can really kind of ground an AI model to be like a certain persona, do a very specific task, basically a secretary, do whatever you want. And it's really, really refined and combed through about not just being any sort of large language model, but you're really kind of training it, right? You are giving it everything you could possibly think of. And so the use case that I'm going to demonstrate here is being able to use it in sales and marketing and really just crafting good copy based on either you or your client. Basically, you can, really refine and tweak and essentially come up with a complete replica or clone of you or your client in order to help you formulate good copy. And so I'm going to show you end to end of what that looks like, and we'll just have at it. So I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I have no idea what the outcome is going to be. I tried it with one of my other clients just to run some samples, and just based on that information alone, I'm thinking like, damn, I just need to let it rip. So here we go. Let's go ahead and dive in. So as I mentioned before, Mistral, you should definitely take a look. They just literally released some news about all their things here. So Mistral has entered the chat. Essentially, they have a free chat bot. And so you could see here by comparison, you have ChatGPT, which is paid. I think it's like $20 a month. Perplexity has their paid plan. Claude has their paid plan. I basically have all of them. I forget how much they cost, but nonetheless, you have access to the largest or the latest LLMs that are coming out. LeChat is just entering that arena as well. You have things called web search. You have a lot of different things like image generation. There's just a number of things, right? The big one right here, look, task agents, okay? And look right here, big fat freaking yes, right? I definitely encourage you to check this out because there's just a lot of things here. I haven't even talked about Grok with GROK, or Grok for that matter with a Q. All great tech there. But we're going to get into agents. And so essentially, what is an agent? Well, an agent, let me just go ahead and enlarge myself here. When it comes to AI agents, I think a lot of people are getting confused, all right? So think about it like this. When you are interacting with a large language model, all you're doing is exchanging information. That's it. You're basically talking to the world's largest, smartest genius with zero context on what you're talking about, or really what the outcome might be. I don't want to turn this into a prompt engineering video, but it's essentially just exchanging information, right? You have no outcome or guaranteed output of what you're actually going to get without feeding it the context that you need to give and specific to the task that you're giving them, right? Now, an AI agent is essentially that brain or that large language model that has either a PDF or a tool, or it has some sort of use case or some sort of not use case. Essentially, think of it like a mechanic, right? A mechanic, if your car's broke and you got a check engine light, you can call a mechanic on the phone. You can tell them about your problems, and all they're doing is exchange information. That's basically like chatting with a chatbot. But an agent is actually going to have that wrench. They're going to have that PDF or that car manual to actually know about more about that particular car that you have. And they're going to have all the instructions. There's no hallucinating, because obviously you don't want a mechanic hallucinating or, screwing up your car unless you're going to some dollar mechanic, right? But that's the difference between just regular large language models and interact with them based on a chatbot or anything like that. And then an AI agent is actually the large language model, but with a manual or a specific definitive tool or anything where it can actually do something, right? And so that's what we're going to get into. And so one of the big things that about Mistral is their large language models. I wouldn't say they're necessarily flagship. They're up and coming. Claude and ChatGPT, in my opinion, are still wildly the best in terms of creative and cost and things like that. But Mistral is definitely up and coming, so you should definitely take a look. So we're gonna go ahead and just log in, and then you are right here. You're within their their console and things like that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just create an agent. But before we do that, I want to show you what it's about as far as the docs are concerned, right? So we'll go to docs. Well, actually, they just messed it all around here. Okay, here we go. So nonetheless, I'm not trying to read you a bunch of text, but that's basically what I talked about is what are AI agents? They're basically powered by LLMs, and they allow you to carry out tasks or processing that is really, really tailored and dialed down, right? So what does that mean in the use case of me talking about using it for sales enablement at scale, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to design a new agent, and we're going to create a new agent here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use our friend here, ChatGPT 01, and we're going to just come here. And we're just going to say, we're going to give it basically as much context as possible. We're going to say what the company does. Pretend like you are trying to replicate yourself, right? Or if you have a client and you're doing lead gen or whatever, you want to basically spill the beans on who they are, what their case studies are, like scrape their website, provide any maybe intake call notes, anything that, call recordings, who their ICP is, things like that. And then basically what you're doing is you're giving the agent instructions and that manual. This is your opportunity to design that manual. And so one thing that I'm bringing up GPT-01 for, of course, we're kind of bouncing around here, but that's the best for what you got, right? O1 is really good at taking its time to actually execute and process information and really craft a good prompt for what you want. So essentially prompt the prompt, right? So I'm just going to shotgun it, and we're just going to come up with some random stuff. We're going to build a table just to see what it looks like, and we'll go from there. So we're just going to say you are a business broker, and your objective is to reach out to small businesses that are potentially looking to sell or exit. Your job is to qualify businesses. I'm just kind of shotgunning it here. Your job is to qualify businesses and score and vet out businesses that meet your criteria. The main types of businesses that you are objectively looking for are SMBs that are making ideally at least, we'll say, $1 million per year gross. You are also going for businesses that can be easily sold and acquired. Some examples are plumbers, HVAC, pest control, pool service companies. I own one of those. Don't do it. And let's see here, amongst many others. Let's see here. All right, before we do that, we're gonna say this. Firstly, your job is to come up with, we're going to say, actually, let's go backtrack here. I am designing an AI agent where we are trying to come up with special instructions and every possible parameter and manual to go off of. By manual, I mean that who we are looking to sell to, what we do, our value proposition, and why and how we help businesses. The name of the company is IDAF Brokers. Let's see here. We'll see. I'm just kind of shotgun it, so bear with me here. This is part of prompting, right? So we're coming up with just as much as we can. We're going to say here, amongst many others. So let's pretend that I just brought up my website, and I say IDAF Brokers serves as a business broker in the United States with multiple offices and specializes in mergers and acquisitions. We have sold many businesses and helped entrepreneurs create long-term wealth. We'll just go with that. Your goal is to qualify. I know I'm kind of repeating here, but I'm just going off a whim here. Your goal is to qualify, take a close look at what the company does, just like the examples I mentioned, home service businesses, and ultimately reach out via cold email only and start a conversation revolving around a business assessment and valuation. Let's see here. Okay. Output a comprehensive and long and very specific prompt for me to copy and paste into this AI agent. And we'll see what that looks like. All right, so O1 is thinking, and O1 is going to take a little bit more time. Now, this is what you call inference. Basically, a lot of times people just want to get the response, and sometimes fast responses are not always the best, even though nobody has time for that. But let's say we're processing some data here, right? And we want to take some time. So you can see here that it defines the role, your objective here, so it structures it very well. So we talk about industry type, financial metrics, location, responsibilities and actions. And this would be like, let's say this is he talks about tone and style, closing, legal compliance, privacy. Now, some other things here, this really doesn't matter. But it's very, very specific bullet points, final notes, and it basically gives us everything we need to, right? So we're going to just paste this in here. We're just going to leave all that. All right, and we're just going to leave this. Okay. Now, we're also, let's say we had a Zoom call, and you got the transcript. It's like, take that and just post it in here. You know what I mean? Some other things that I would do is basically like good copyright. Let's say you had some campaigns that were really high performing, or you had a client that had some really good copy that it works well for their value prop, maybe their approach, stuff like that. What you could do is you can add this as a demonstration for a few shot prompts, as they're calling it. But just to kind of refine, what you're looking for. Some other things too, similar to what I have this up here. But shout out to Eric. Basically, with his agency, he's come up with some outstanding swipe file stuff, which we commonly refer to. Because like Josh Braun, for example, we have a lot of things in here. So in order to make this nice and interesting, I'm going to go ahead and paste this into the prompt as well. and let's just see what we get. All right, we're gonna take out the first part here. So this is a lot of good stuff. So we are coming up with some good information. So we're gonna find the X because that's not necessarily good context or whatever. And you know what? I'm not trying to fish for it. We'll just leave that in there. All right, now here's the other thing, temperature. So temperature means randomness. It means how creative can it be, right? So the higher the randomness or the higher temperature, you're basically giving it a lot of power to come up with some random stuff. So I'm personally a fan of keeping it low. I'd say 0.2. You know, you could have it real strict. I mean, you could just turn it down all the way. But this is kind of where you can control, you know, how creative you want it to be. This is really good. And this is that fine-tuning refinement of being able to, you know, do your agent. So we're just going to call this IDAF broker agent. All right. All right, next thing here. Okay, so we're going to say, let's see here. Who are you? This is kind of us interacting with the bot here, but you can see I'm an AI agent acting as business broker, okay? We're going to say, and we're just kind of testing here. We're going to say, all right, output an email with, let's see here, that is no more than 80 words. Skip the greeting and sign off, no signature. Output the body only. Let's see here. Your objective based on the input below, based on the inputs below is to craft cold email to the prospect. Let's see. Make sure to include unique things about their company and what they do and how you can help them with a successful exit. All right, we're just going to make shit up. So we're going to say company name. Let's see here. Let's call it. All right, I'm military. I don't care. It's, you know, thick skin, right? Let's see here. We're going to say revenue. We're going to say they make $5 million a year. All right, let's see here. Owner is Bob the plumber. We're going to say what the company does. Let's just pretend we did a Claygent and maybe LinkedIn and we scraped. We're going to say 20 years in business, veteran owned. Shout out to my fellow vets. And we provide quality plumbing service for all your toilet and water needs. Family owned by several generations. So we'll call it 200 years. That just makes it more interesting. All right, let's see what that does. All right, so here we go. This is just an email. Boom. Presidency has correct plumbing, thriving, $5 million revenue, 200 years. Your dedication. Okay, so this is really good. You know, would you be open to a confidential discussion about maximizing your company's value and exploring exit? This is banger right here. Like, I have a client. This is good stuff. And the thing is, I would just separate it out. You know, we could always make line breaks and paragraphs, but that is straight to the point. So that's just one angle, right? You can refine it, do whatever you want. So now we're going to do this. We're going to hit deploy. All right, so you see right here, this is the API. We're going to do API, and we have the agent code here, right? So what I'm going to do now is we are going to start a new table. We're going to call it a workbook, actually. Let me just move my face, and we're going to see here. Actually, let's see. Let's call it example. Okay. And we're going to, by the way, I'm in Clay, by the way. I said by the way twice. That was by the way sandwich. If you're not familiar with Clay, this platform definitely allows you to mold data, no pun intended, to do exactly what I'm doing here, which is to take all the things, any sort of integration, web scraping, things like that. We reach out to companies to scale and basically raise your top line. That's the way the business works, right? So, all right, blank table. And we are actually, I'm going to delete this. We're just going to find some companies just for the sake of it. And we are going to say plumbing. All right, we're going to say 11 to 50. Location, United States. All right. And next thing, we're just going to limit this to 10. All right, so we have some companies here, right? We're going to import this to new table. We're just going to import it. All right, so this is fitting our criteria here, right? So we're taking a sample form here. And now we ideally would score them, but it basically has a description. There's a lot of different things. I don't want to go into the weeds here, but we basically have a list of people. So ideally, we would, find who the owner is. We would enrich their information. We would also get their email address. We would validate their email, right? If cold email outreach was the option. Otherwise, you could always cold call, that kind of thing. But we're going to see what the agent does, right? So what I'm going to do is hit add enrichment. We're going to go HTTP API. And then this is where we start to get fun stuff here. I'm going to move my face. Now what we're going to do is we are just going to create a new key. Don't worry, this key's not going to work by the time you watch this video, so it's all good. We're going to say IDAF broker demo, okay? And just we'll leave that because it ain't going to work afterwards anyway. So we have the key right here, okay? Actually, what I want to do is we need to go to the docs. All right, so we're going to say API request. And then what we do is go to the curl, okay? And then we want agents. Let's see. Okay, so we went to the AI agent. We're going to curl request. We're going to select this endpoint right here. And we are going to make it a post request. Move my face again. Okay, so we have the endpoint here. And then from here, we're going to add the headers. Okay, so we have content type, application, JSON. So we're going to go to headers. Then we're going to do content type, application, JSON. And then we need to add our token. So we're going to do accept. Okay. We don't even need that one. That's usually by default. So we're just going to see if we do the authorization. All right. Add authorization. And then I think it's bear. Yep, bear. Okay. And then we need a space. We do our API key. Cool. All right, now the fun stuff. So you see this data right here. So we're just going to go ahead and select everything. We're not going to use the apostrophes before and after. We're going to copy this JSON right here. And then you see this agent ID. So we are going to go to our agents again. And we're going to see this agent right here. We're going to copy this. And then we're going to go to agent ID. And we're going to paste. All right, messages. So role user. Okay, this is where I'd recommend if you're going to repeat this, right? Call it your agent, however you want, your copyright agent, your client agent, however you want to do that, right? And so we can. This is going to be our prompt. So there's two ways you can do this. You could create a text column, and then I essentially would type in a prompt there, which to me was kind of the old way of doing it. I have really just been refining my prompts right within here because you can refine things and you're not running cells at scale unnecessarily, right? And so just trust me on that. I would just try to see, make sure it starts with quotes and ends with quotes, right? So we're just gonna say, just for starts, who are you and what do you do? We're doing this as an example here just to see if it works. We're gonna save and don't run. And we're gonna see if we get a 200 status code. Just a few moments here. Perfect. First shot. Done. Okay, we're going to choices, go to message, and then look at this. I am an AI agent acting as a business broker on behalf of IDAF Brokers, a renowned business. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So any other AI model would be like, I am your helpful assistant, right? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have some real fun here. We're actually going to take... Oh, that's not there. Okay, so we're going to do this again. All right. Based on the input below, craft a compelling short email that is no more than 80 words. Make sure to include something unique about the company and what they do. Your main purpose for reaching out to them is to see if they are open to a conversation regarding exit strategy or selling their business. Let's see here. Get straight to the point with no greeting, no sign off, and no signature. Do not say, I hope this email, we're just not going to put that in quotes. Do not say, I hope this email finds you well. We're going to remove those quotes because that's duplicative. Do not say, I hope this email. Get straight to the point. Here are the details. All right, so we have company name, and we're going to say company name, and then we're going to say company description. Let's see, what else did I mention? We can just probably roll with that. All right, cool. So you see how I basically create a prompt, and you can use prompt the prompt. Use AI to come up with a good one, like we did with GPT-01, right? I could repeat that, but basically you want to always, with AI, you always want to say the role of who you are, which obviously with this AI agent, we don't really need to say the role anymore because we have honed it so much that the role is the role. It's the agent. So he's already got his manual and he knows what he needs to do. No different than what you're doing in your business. You know what you need to do, right? And then now we're just getting straight to the task, right? Which you can do with an agent too. You can define the task and all that stuff. But I'm really crafting a prompt here to say, okay, this is your task, and then this is the output. So you always want to do a role, the task and parameters, and then the output. So with AI agents, you can just get straight to the what you want to do and the output. You can even refine that. But we're just going to see how this goes. And well, let's make sure it actually works first. Let's run it on just a few and then see if we need to refine it. 200, boom. All right. There it is. Okay, actually, this is what I'm going to do too. Make sure to, break up the email in paragraphs enough to be easily read in 10 seconds or less. Let's see what that does. All right. This way, when you actually send this as like a merge tag or a variable, to your sequencer, it's actually going to render appropriately with the proper paragraphs. So you'll see just right within here, it's not going to do that. But if I add it as column, and I click on this, you can see right here, you have those line breaks, you're good to go. But look at this, right here. Impressed by Logical's plumbing commitment. Given your success, have you considered an exit strategy, exploring value? I'd like to discuss how our firm can do that. Are you open to a brief conversation about this? Thing I love about this right here, this call to action is what you call an active open loop question. It's a probe. Psychology-wise, basically means that you are more enticed to actually respond. What do I mean by that? Well, if it was passive, I would say something like, hey, if you're open to it, just let me know and we can have a conversation. That's like passive, right? Because it's not directly asking and it's more closed loop because psychologically, well, why would I want to respond to you? You know what I mean? But if I'm saying, would you be open to a brief conversation or would you entertain this as a possibility? Now it's almost like a text message. It's an open loop to be like, oh, I should. So this right here, let me know if you're open to a conversation. This is a passive one, right? There's no active response or open hook, I should say, open loop, right? But you can see right here, all this copy is all different, right? So let's populate all the rest of these here. So begging question is, what's the rate limits, right? Looks like it's getting 200. So, okay. So looks like we need to refine it here because it does say, hey, we don't want that. Hey, so I would refine the prompt more to be like, just output the body, right? So, and then we could add more. Maybe it's just about information right here. Look, this is all they're getting. So, okay. So more context about the company would be help, right? So anyway, you can see right here, this is a working AI agent based on what we trained here on all the things when it comes to just working with the agent. And you can always refine it. I'm not sure if we could actually edit it once it's deployed. But what I would do is, oh, actually I can. Son of a biscuit. Even better. And then you can test it and ask right here based on all the things, right? So yeah, that's really all I have. And so I just think it's freaking awesome. I mean, that you can't get any easier than that. It's literally like GPTs that are refined, right? And that we can call through API. When you're using a platform like Clay, you can just run it at scale across the whole table, right? And so I definitely will be doing that for myself amongst my clients, test it out because, you can't just get much better than that. With all the spin tax and all the other things that people are doing nowadays. So I guess the big question is about cost. Well, check the docs. Things are always changing. What I say today could always change tomorrow. But you're not paying any sort of software on top of an API kind of thing. Those are all great platforms. But to me, it's like they're built on AI, right? If you just use the large language model as is, then you're usually paying just by rate limits and tokens and things like that, which to me is, the best value, I should say. And so it's nothing to knock on other SaaS builders, all supportive, in that regard. But anyway, thanks for watching up until the end. If you have, really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. Leave in the comments below if this is helpful to you. Shoot, this video has been like 34 minutes. So, but anyway, appreciate you and reach out if you need any help and talk soon. Thanks.